before traveling to Tokyo, make sure you watch this. Back to my channel, it's TK. So in this video, I'll be covering the things I wish I knew before going to Tokyo for the first time. Now, I'm Japanese. I was born in Japan and grew up in the States. So I've heard a lot of things about Japan and Tokyo from my parents, friends, Japanese TV shows and movies, but there's things that you actually don't know until you go there. So keep watching for travel tips and things to know before you go to Tokyo for the first time. So the first one is to bring enough cash. Now, Japan is still very much a cash-based country, and even in Tokyo, there are parts of the town that doesn't really take card. Now, because it's Tokyo, you're okay in most places, but in like smaller and like older shops and restaurants, there could be a place where they don't accept credit cards. Now, if you go to Japan, you might want to bring a wallet that has like a small coin pouch attached to it, or you can also like buy or bring something like this, like a small coin pouch. I got this from my family, and it's pretty small, pretty handy, because Japanese yen, so even like $1 and $5, or like 100 yen, 500 yen, they're coins, they're not like paper. So that's why these kind of like coin pouch, coin purse might be a little handy. Now you can see here some of the coins. I think I have it mixed up with euro, but so this is 100 yen, or equivalent to like $1. And then this is like 10 cents or a dime. Some of the other stuff, yeah, I have a lot of other like things mixed up. That's not Japanese yen, but this is 50 yen, or equivalent to like 50 cents. I don't have the 500 yen with me, but it's like a little bigger than this, and it says 500, and that's equivalent to like about $5. And the second one is to buy an IC card or a Passmo Suica right away. So these are the cards that you can use to get on the train or metro, subway, and it's so handy. I got the Suica. It looks something like this. Oh, sorry, there's like a glare, but it looks something like this, and you can reload it with money. And oh, actually, that's another reason why you want to bring cash. But a lot of the times at like a train station in Tokyo, you can reload these very easily. But a lot of these like reloading machines only accept cash, which I don't know why they do that. I think if you register these like IC or Suica cards online, and if you also have a Japanese bank or like Japanese credit card, you can reload it using your credit card. But if you don't have that, which I didn't, you can only reload it using cash. So that's another reason why you want to bring cash. But these are very handy because when you get on the train, the amount of money you pay depends on the distance traveled. So you don't want to like look at the like map every single time, which actually tells you how much you owe or like how much you have to pay. But you can just like instead just tap this before you hop right in, and you don't have to like calculate or like count the number of coins that you have to pay. So that's very handy. Now the third one is to be aware of the rush hours for subway and metro stations. So it's called man-in densha. It literally means like jam-packed train, but oh my goodness, if you go to Tokyo without knowing it, it's a lot. During rush hours, like you think that literally you can't fit in any other human being into the train, but people push you and like shove you to like try to like get more people in. I don't know why they do this, and I've never experienced such a thing in the US. Even when I was in like New York, in Boston, even like when it's like really packed after like an event or 4th of July fireworks or after a concert, it does get packed, but not as packed as Tokyo subway. And so if you're going to Tokyo for the first time, try to avoid those rush hours as much as possible. I think usually it's like in the mornings from like, I want to say 7:30 to 9:30 perhaps, and then in the evenings around like 4:30 to like 7:30 around, I think, from my experience. But oh my goodness, it is horrifying. Like you feel like you're just like smushed into this like limited space, and like you can't move at all. Yeah, and you think because like after like 1 or 2 rounds of like trying to shove all these people and like everybody gets on that train, like after a while it's not gonna be as crowded. But oh no during those rush hours, like you don't even, like I was like, where do all these like people come from? And number 4, so related to the subway station, Tokyo subway stations are like underground cities. Oh my goodness. If you don't know where you're going, you can get lost very easily. So if you think you got lost, or if you don't really know where you're going, always ask. I think, which one was it? I think Tokyo train station, Shibuya and Shinjuku train station, they're really crowded, first of all, and also they also have these like malls and like grocery stores and a bunch of other shops within like the basement of the train station, subway station. So it can get very, very confusing. I was at Tokyo station once and I got lost. Was stuck there for like 20 minutes just to figure out where the exit was. So it was that bad. So make sure like you just ask for directions if you're not sure where you're going. Number 5, if you're in Tokyo on escalators, make sure you stand on the left, not the right, because in the US people usually stand on the right. I was used to that and I did that, and oh my goodness, not a good experience. Yeah, so in Tokyo you stand on the left, but I think in the Kansai area or like in like the Osaka region, it's the opposite, like you stand on the right just like in the US. But in Tokyo, make sure you stand on the left. Number 6, now this is a great thing, but transportation actually comes right on time. So what I used to do when I was in Tokyo was like leave 20-30 minutes ahead of time, because I'm so used to buses and like trains and like a bunch of other like public transportation coming late or like leaving like a few minutes early, and then I end up having to wait for the next bus. But oh my goodness, in Japan they come right on time. So then I stopped leaving early because I didn't want to wait 20-30 minutes ahead. But yeah, Japanese public transportation, they're very reliable. Now, public transportation is very reliable in Japan, but you might still want to leave a little ahead of time if you're meeting up with a friend, just because a lot of the like cafes, restaurants, shops tend to be a little hard to find sometimes in Tokyo. So Tokyo is crowded and it has like limited space. So what happens is that they have a lot of these shops in one building, but in like the 2nd, 3rd, 4th floor. So in one building there can be like a dentist on the 2nd floor, and then like a restaurant on the 3rd floor, and then a hair salon on the 4th floor, and then you hop on this like tiny elevator to go up that building and then like go to wherever you want to go. So sometimes it can be a little hard to find these like restaurants and cafes, so you might still want to leave ahead of time. And then the next one is that there isn't really Uber, Lyft, or sort of the transportation app that a lot of people use in the US. Now, I heard that this is changing slowly, but yeah, when I was in Japan, there wasn't really like a Uber that you could just like literally hop on. But there are taxis. Now, taxis and cabs, they're very clean, very reliable, so professional, but at the same time, they can be quite expensive. I think the starting fare in Tokyo usually is around 400 to like 700 yen. I took a cab once in Tokyo. It was like 5-minute ride, and it cost me like $10. So it might be better if you can figure out the bus or like train public transportation system. Also, if you go to a restroom, a lot of the restrooms in Japan or in Tokyo might not have paper towels or like those hand dry machines like we have in the US. A lot of people actually carry around their like own handkerchief that you can usually get at like any dollar store, souvenir store, or like a mall. But yeah, I don't know why this is the case, but in a lot of Japanese bathrooms, public restrooms, they don't have anything where you can like dry your hands. So you might want to invest in a handkerchief if you want to, or I don't know, you can air dry it, I guess. But now next one is that there isn't really much free public or free Wi-Fi that you can easily access. So in the US, if you go to like Starbucks, any sort of cafe, restaurants, or mall, you can usually find free Wi-Fi. But in Japan, even in Tokyo, it's sometimes a little hard to find. So when I went, I think I got like a pocket or like a portable Wi-Fi that you can literally just pick up at the airport, use it, and then return it when you're at the airport again. So they're very convenient. But yeah, if you're going to Tokyo and you want to rely on getting Wi-Fi, which is, I think that's a good choice. If you're going to Tokyo for the first time, yeah, you might want to invest in a portable Wi-Fi. Oh, something that really surprised me was that there isn't that many public like trash cans in Japan or even in Tokyo. And even if you do find them, you have to like separate or like sort them into like waste that you can like burn, like those recycle bins with like cans, plastic, glass, I don't know, and then the ones that you can't really like burn, so you have to like separate them. But yeah, even in like parks and like bunch of other places, it's a little hard sometimes to find trash can, so be aware. Now the next one, if you're going to Tokyo and if you want to go out shopping, make sure you always carry around your passport for tax-free shopping. Most malls offer tax-exempt shopping for tourists especially. But if you don't have your passport on you, you can't really get it, so make sure you carry that around. Tokyo is a great place to go shopping. Now the last one is to be prepared of typhoons, the monsoon season, and also earthquakes. So whether it's minor or major, about 1,500 to 2,000 earthquakes, I think, happen every year in Japan. Now, when I went to Tokyo and the last couple of years, I've been going at least once a year. I didn't experience it myself, but every time I went in the fall, it overlapped with like the typhoon season. So it can get very rainy, and depending on which season you go to Japan, for example, in like June, usually it's like the monsoon season, so it can rain a lot. So make sure you plan well with which season you go to Japan. So that wraps up the things I wish I knew before going to Japan. If you like these kind of content, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, comments, if you have any other fun stories when you went to Japan or to Tokyo and things you wish you knew before going, make sure you leave that in the comments below. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.